then I may introduce Charlotte. Okay. So Charlotte Axelsson is the head of the e-learning at Zurich University of the Arts. And together with her team, she has developed the field of e-learning in the past years by networking in the school, by initiating and establishing toolboxes like Moodle and others, by running hands-on workshops, and by setting up new infrastructures. You come freshly from a talk you have initiating too, as a talk on an ethical approach to digitality. I couldn't participate this time. It's very interesting last time. And you can imagine that a year ago, when suddenly the COVID crisis started, we have been could benefit enormously from this work you and your team has done. So I can give you the word now about the student survey you did on the digital education in last year. So please, Charlotte.
Merci beaucoup and hello everyone. And I'm a bit sad that I missed Nina's talk because the end discussion was quite blossomful. Can you say that? But I felt like this, and I'm happy to be here today. My AirPods are empty, so please give me a sign if you don't understand me well, and then I will put the AirPods in. But if you understand me like this, it would be great to continue.
I want a quick note. Are we recording?
Yeah. Oh, we can. No, we are not recording yet.
I said yes.
Okay.
Now we are recording.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Because when I entered, I had to say yes to the recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are recording. So I want to share my screen with you. So I do this, and then I will tell you what I wanted to talk with you today. So as Andreas mentioned already, I'm a part of the team e-learning at ZHDK. It's an overhead to all our 5 departments, which I will explain later. And I reckon you all know a bit the University of the Arts in Zurich. So, but I will deep in a bit. And we develop, as Andrea said, these 2 platforms, which is called PAUL, which means to exchange knowledge on a learn management system, and Ella, this is our toolkit, only in German, but if you can read German or understand German, it would be nice if you visit ella.zhdk.ch. So these are our 2 ghosts, and these ghosts cultivate a culture, a new digital culture in the university, and we want to cultivate kind of a hacking situation, that you're not using the tools or the tools using you, that you really understand to use them as your tool, and that is the culture we want to cultivate at the university, which is already there, but it grows, or it went bigger through the last year, and also our visibility went bigger or get bigger. So this is our team, which is a bit smaller than usual because we have some changes in the team. We have a person who is owning the product, Paul, who is developing the tool and who gives the support to the tool. Then we have a person for the communication sector and for the gamification and informal spaces, which is a thing right now. Then we have the 2 girls who are developing a learning management, learn portfolio. So we want to share not only in the classroom our ideas, also with the university wide, and to show competences and find also partners, bearing partners for this tool. And then it's me, which I'm coming out from, or I'm a person who studied pedagogy, so I'm more the didactic person in this team. And that's me, that's Charlotte Axelsson. And now I want to show you quite a project which is called Student Survey. That's why I'm here. That is our university. And last year in March, you remember we had this lockdown situation also at the university, and we had a complete lockdown. So not even our workspaces were open, so the university were closed. I know other universities who were a bit more flexible in the system, but we were closed completely till July. So we started a survey in May to find out where the needs are, where the students are standing. So that was a big question, because we had always the teaching connection, but never the student connection from the learning team. So we started the student survey, and it was conducted online in June 2020. It was addressed to the bachelor and master programs, so to all students, which is around 2,000 people. 505 students from all departments took part in the survey. And if you look on the numbers, I don't know if you know exactly the short names, but we have the performance arts and film. We have the department for design. We do have the department for cultural analysis, fine arts and music. And the numbers are for the cultural analysis is 82. We have for the design 128. For the culture, now I get confused, but here you see a bit the numbers for the departments, and it shows also the size of the departments. So the bigger departments have more students which conduct to this survey. So the main, I love this sentence from the survey, I don't own a piano. I think that was one of the main directions in the survey. So we have a big issue with the infrastructure. So if not only with the infrastructure of a piano, we also have a problem with the infrastructure of the internet, of the room, of the spaces which were around the students. A big issue with the computer situation. So everything, I don't own a piano, that is, the university is my space where I learn, and this is not here anymore. So that's why I love this sentence, and it makes a bigger picture of the end, the results of the survey. And what I want to do right now, and I want to take you to this journey, we are nearly 8 months after the survey, so it moved. We find out some solutions, and I want to show with you more the actions and not the results from this student survey, because actually it is, I don't own a piano. So it's really the key of this survey. So, but at the beginning, I want to show you in which areas we found answers, or we found the triggers. It is teaching and lesson content. So there's the issue that you cannot make 8 hours as online seminar. I heard it before from Minna. You said it, I think now we have 5 days, 8 hours on Zoom. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. So we have this teaching and lesson content, which is which we have to develop in a digital environment, and not put take the analog situation into the digital. We have to think there's a mind shift in these lesson content if you work only digital. So we have the infrastructure, as I mentioned. I don't own a piano. It's the infrastructure of the university, which was a field of and then we have the organization and the administration. That means that there was a lot of students had no money. I call it the beer jobs weren't there anymore. So there was a lot of jobs where weren't available for the students. And then we have the self-organization and social framework, which is quite a big issue. The self-organization of the students is immense important to have a look on, because I think it is also in a how to say, einer Verbindung,
in connection with.
In connection, thank you. In the connection to the teaching and lesson content, because if you are 8 hours in a Zoom meeting, you cannot cook in 20 minutes. So there's all the self-organization, which is on top. It's a social framework where the students are not in. They have to cook for, I think you got the point of the self-organization. And also there is not the group of the students which push you or which motivates you, and it's all from your intrinsic motivation to get to the point. If you have not the peer groups, which is another big issue to these peer groups in the classroom, so to have this informal discussions. So to mention a very positive part in the social framework and the self-organization is that a lot of students mention the teachers have more time for the students. That was quite interesting to hear. It's more time for the students, and they ask quite honestly, how are you doing? I think that was quite a result of the survey, that the digital is not anonymous. It is in a kind of a way, but it's also a very, you can deep your connections. So that is, I think, a nice view into the future if you see it from this position. But at the end, it was the result of the student survey for the Corona semester, where we had this total lockdown and no entrance to the university. It was not a positive result. It was quite negative. So the most of the classes were, or the students were quite disappointed from the semester. But we are on our track, and we hope to develop some methods which I want to show you soon. Is there any question to this? I mean, I can zoom in to show more fields, but I don't know how much time we have. Otherwise, I would go further. Now we have this A to B. So I'm talking about the track which is following. We have to find solutions, or also to reflect about the survey. So we do it. We have a group which is called Koordinationsgruppe Digitaler Unterricht, which is made, which is, if I translate it, coordination group of the digital class teaching. We develop these fields where we want to work in. And this is 2 fields which I want to mention. It is develop the potential for digital teaching that concerns important form of work for the ZHDK and can be developed. So what that means is to find out which parts can we develop and which we can't. That sounds a bit easy, but it isn't. And when I go to the part 2 is dealing with the limits of the digital. So it's maybe a bit a disappointing result from the student survey, but at the end, it's quite good to work from these two perspectives. So I have to accept that there are limits with the digital. I mean, I heard a lot of people from the music department which said, I cannot handle 8 hours of oboe or clarinet or through Zoom. I cannot do it. I mean, it's not possible. So, and I think to say, okay, we cannot do this brings us to another level. And if we find out the digital excellent, which parts are super good at Zurich for the digital environment, then we can put there our energy and bring it up. So that is the two perspectives where we are dealing with right now. And I want to show you right now the action which we do right now to organize and to make these two perspectives visible. And so I made two levels. I made the mindset, which was a bit like this. Accept there is limits of the digitality. So the mindset is if you do digital environments, or if you work digital, you have to give access to the environment. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And what that is, it's close to equal opportunities. As I said, the students said, if I'm sitting in my room, I don't have the internet, I don't have a good computer or whatever. So we have to think about digital equality. So that is a big point to talk about. And as Andreas mentioned, I come directly from an event where we talk about these issues to implement them into the ZHDK. And if we think about the mindset, we have to talk about hybrid, and we have to talk about think digital, which I mentioned. So if I think analog and transform my analog scenario into the digital, it doesn't work. So if we want to work digital, we have to think digital. So that is maybe you know that all after the year of Corona, but I think you are the guys who talk about that. We have also people who don't talk about this and do their lessons still in the analog way, which doesn't work. So, and what we right now do is I brought with 3 fields of action. We have since yesterday, we launched the program Digital Assistant, which is only for the next months, hopefully, till the Corona COVID situation is a bit more relaxed, and hopefully we want to start this program to assist the teachers digitally. So we have synchron. Sorry, I go to the. No, I messed it up. There it is. So the digital assistant are students who help the teachers, the lecturers and the staff with their teaching activities, and they organizing the Zoom sessions, for example, or they help also in the asynchronous level. So if someone needs some help to upload something, or all these little things which make the all day actions a bit more harder. So or intense, because we think that the teacher has right now the problem that he is every time in a double role. So he is lecturer and he is organizing all the technical stuff. So right now for people who are totally overloaded, because we have these, right now we have this hybrid situation, but maybe in 1 month or 2 months is the changing into the full digital semester. We have to change the planning in a role situation. So we therefore we developed this digital assistant to be also a bit in the future with this program. And then we developed a workshop program which looks in every area of the digitality. So we have the tool Miro, and we give there these more this methodological insights. We have this rolling planning, as I said already, with Scrum methods to be more flexible in the planning of the teaching sequence. Oh, there's adopting digital learning spaces, I meant. We have these recording and editing with smartphones. We have virtual spaces away from Zoom. That would be a nice workshop. We have this hacking power, which is our learning management. And we hack Zoom, as I mentioned in the beginning. We love to hack things, and we have the digital atmosphere. These are just a little insight of our workshop, workshops. And then we have, a documentation program, which is called Digital Teaching in Practice. And there we give kind of a platform for our lecturers and teachers and all people who have teaching and learning to share their knowledge and share their insights about the digital experience in teaching and learning. And the results are in a report which we are developing right now and writing right now. So we try to get all these insights out to bring it into the teaching again. And I forgot one thing. We have right now a program which is not started yet. That's why I forgot it. We have a program for students to organize, for self-organization, to start a program which is called Digital Leadership for Students. So that is the last thing I want to share with you. And now I hope I was not too quick, but then we have time for some questions.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. So the discussion is open. Does somebody of you have a remark or a question? Yeah, Karin, please.
It was really interesting because we are all coping with the same problems, of course, in this digital situation. I'm very curious to your methods because this exhausting time management, you know, the diverse, the variety of workshops, methods, and so on, interacting in this digital situation. I'm really curious about these methods, like you said, hacking Zoom, hacking poll. Can you explain something? How does this work? Can you mention it in an example?
A very nice example is, for example, we have the poll learn management system, and we can transform it into a website. So we can quite easily make out of our very closed system, which is not for sharing actually, but we can share content and make it public. So I have some nice websites which I can show you, and they are public, and it's for teachers. It's quite easy to share information or make a mini website just like this. So that is hacking situation, Zoom, we are quite creative with Zoom. So I always say, sometimes I like to make my presentation not with the sharing mode. I want to presentate something like this. I mean, I can talk to this, and I said, look here, it's positiv bestärken, and then we can talk about the positive part. Or I did it also with this, you know, we are Paul and Ella, and this is my team, and you know, like this, it's pretty easy to make. That is maybe a very nice example for hacking things. You know, you have this nice virtual background and how to use it creatively. It's not like hacking it in a programming it. It's more like using it like I want to use it.
Yeah, clear. You make it clear and also really, hands-on. I think that's what we need sometimes, because you get very close-minded in the situation in your own room. You hardly get inspired with your colleagues, which you normally have in the academy. You enter it and you get already inspired by the environment, and that we miss nowadays.
I always say in a analog environment, I can move my computer, I can put my chairs here, you know. You don't see it because I have the virtual background, but anyhow, you interact in your analog environment. And I would say, or my thesis is that you are not doing it digitally. And I ask why. I mean, you can also move your chair in the digital. I mean, why not? So, and this is the philosophy which we want to give with. So it's a mindset. And also, I mean, we can philosoph now, talk about this 10 hours.
Thank you very much. Really clear. Yeah, really inspiring.
Thank you.
What was this? Sorry, what was this mini website opportunity
you
wanted to share? Maybe you can share the link or.
Yes. No, I can show it to you. Just, I mean, I can do the Bildschirmfreigabe. So look, this is our Paul environment. It's our learning management system. And as Andreas mentioned, I had this talk before. So this is the talk where I was 1 hour ago. And this is our website to this talk. And you can get all the informations. And today it was this topic, and I can share it. It's open. But if I close it, I can use it as a learning environment. So that is the thing.
Yeah, thanks. Now I got it. Like it's similar to what we have this My Courses platform, which you can use for different. Thanks. And thanks for your talk. I think it really nicely like a talk discussed with my examples as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's I think it's evident that when we quite suddenly transferred to totally e-learning based approach, people take the traditional ways of teaching and communicating to e-learning environments, and there are many tricky things happening. But I'm interested in that now we have used nearly 1 year this kind of new approach. What kind of benefits or what we could take from this to the future? Not understanding that the future is something going back to the old times, good old times, but which could be changed based on these experiences. It's also I'm facing this also to Minna, that what you have learned or what you could take to the future from this period.
What Charlotte also said, I thought that resonated with my experience, was that it's not all distance. It could be very intimate also, because in a way it's quite democratic. You have each student an equal space in Zoom, if we talk about this mostly used platform. And then, like I mentioned, you have the opportunity to comment in chat. So you have this for the maybe not so talkative students, or just an alternative. And then, so I think, and today actually in our meeting, Martti, we just said that, for example, thesis presentations kind of work really well in this environment because you have a lot of people attending. So this is also something that I experienced, that the students attend class very in great amounts, because they can just get up in the morning and have breakfast while attending. So and one thing that we have in the program is that we have these weekly meetings, which started with as a gesture of supporting each other, but we didn't have that before. So maybe this, what Charlotte also said, that teachers ask students, how are you? So these are some of the good things that happened. Yeah.
There happened so much more. I think also of flexibility. I think about new environments, which are kind of our superpower. I think that is a nice picture which I have, that digitality can gives us more opportunities to work together and to talk together, which you mentioned, Mina, before. So I think we have a lot of mindsets in the digital which we can use. We have this community of best practice which we use right now a lot, where we say, hello, can you give me some information, and to share it in such a context like here. So the fear to use these video conferences, for example, is much more lower now than 2 years ago, when I asked, let's have a video conference, and everyone said, no, I don't want to. So I think the flexibility to use these technologies is much more bigger now, and I think that is a good result out of this situation, which pushed us a lot, because we used it before, and now we can say, look here, it works, it's cool, it's good to use. So flexibility also to hack the system and don't have fear to use this. And what one thing is which I don't like that much, it's always Zoom. Digital for me is not only Zoom. We have so many possibilities to communicate, and it's always the Zoom. And I said, no, it's not always the Zoom. We can use other techniques. So, yeah.
Can I comment? I think that's a really good kind of info for the whole picture of the digital platforms. You also make the chosen platform, or you work with the chosen platform. That is something that you can bring people together, or then to kind of bring them apart if it's not accessible, or if it's not working for some kind of educational questions, working for some other, like within university, that there are different things learned and teach. But it was the same thing that you, Mina, noted. I was really interested in the part that you said that it brought more this kind of a empathy, kind of how are you doing, these kind of things for the normal lectures. I think that remotely working is much more intensive. So you are in this kind of really small group together. But if we would think to future, if we would be learning and teaching via Zoom for like 10 years, it might be so that it would be normal lectures and nobody would kind of ask the how are you doing anymore. Everybody would have been gotten so used to this format. So is it also something that you have to get out of the comfort zones, that you kind of reform the idea of the group of the people and the idea that you are asking kind of the well-beings? Also the pandemic, I think, is something that brought these questions to mind. But what I would like to note out is to be really sure that the talkative persons will talk, but how about the persons who are not so sure about the chat or are quiet, are not so responsive, because you have the short time period only to kind of answer within this platform. So it's really important to keep the silent also.
And
That's true.
if I can say something to Zoom, which is developed from male perspective, and a man is the voice recognition is better for male than for female. so we have always the algorithm which is also influence us. So that's why I said Zoom is not the only solution for the communication problem. So to bring people together. So we have to be a bit more creative to find out where we can talk. And for example, or not to talk, to work. I mean, we want to work in the classroom and not only talking. So.
Mm-hmm.
For my part, a big benefit of the situation now is that I can just join other classes and invite other colleagues very quick and independent of the geographical distance. So I did it quite a lot last year. I had invited colleagues from South Asia, even colleagues from Japan or Austria. But the only thing is a time zone. But on the other hand, it's really easy going. And I mean, the meeting we have now is like the same purpose. We can do it because of this situation. We wouldn't have done it before. So, but one thing maybe I wonder about the survey is I have like two perspectives. So my perspective is the one of a lecture, but my daughter started studying at the university a year ago, and she has a big lack of networking because she don't know
social
the
framework
colleagues.
is
Yeah.
terrible. Yes.
So
It's also a big issue
yeah.
in Aalto now.
Do you have some kind of feedback about what did the students say about this topic?
Pain.
We have I've taught our art education BA students quite a lot, but with the difference that they were able to meet in the fall for a short period of time, and that really makes a difference. But so I don't know, they have like a WhatsApp group and they are actually quite supportive with each other, meeting outside with the limits of the situation and so on. But they're our MA students, they're happy in discussion, and they are lacking. And I talked with a former student who's studying in the Fine Arts Academy in a 2-year program, and not being able to access the studio during that whole time. It's quite tragic. Also, not being able to connect with fellow students. So
there's a question from Kelly.
Yeah, from me, from Karin. Yeah,
Karin.
yeah. I was really curious, elaborating more on the. I hear much about the advantages of digital situation. This getting better private, closer connections. But are there also disadvantages to what you say? Well, this never I will take to the future situation when you are in this hybrid situation, for instance. And then for me, as an example, you mentioned the chat as a beneficial for every voice to hear. I feel it also sometimes as a threat because it distracts very much the some people, and some so there are two sides of it. And I have nowadays, I feel after this long period also disadvantages to the situation, and also to the opening of the chats. Sometimes it becomes very aggressive and very disturbing. And so this, I would like to get more ideas. How do you feel about it? Because I feel it in a very positive way, but I see also a shadow part in this situation.
There's a totally shadow. We had a good example is we had a webinar, not a webinar because there's no one interacting. We had a seminar with 16 people, and there was a person, we had a guest, and the guest was speaking. And there were a group in the chat, and one person very aggressive, who was quite aggressive in what he's talking, stupid, like really not nice to a person.
I recognize this, but that's why I would like to talk about it, because I think that's a very hard thing, you know.
Yes, and then we can you hear me? Yeah. And then we had this talk, and the person, the guest, didn't recognize it. It was just like he was talking, and after the talk of the guest, the group was really strange, you know, because we read the chat and we were like, oh, what's going on? And then suddenly a member or a participant started to read out loud the chat. It was amazing. He read the chat like really with the voice of the chat, the aggressivity. And it was so, you know, it was so clear for everyone that that was not okay to do in a chat, to talk like this. And I think also to make the invisible visible in a classroom, it's very important, I think. And after the seminar, we had a long discussion with the guest, because he was really disturbing. He was really like, what? I mean,
what's happening? Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, because in one part you have this very connected situation that you feel connected to the students, but there also is an anonymous
Yes.
part of it, that people feel like they can scream whatever they want to, and even don't listen quite well to one another. Yeah. And that's, I think, very hard to this medium. And I would like to think digital, but how to deal with it.
Yes.
I think that is new rules we have to talk yeah.
If I can comment, I think it's very demanding to the facilitator of the situation,
Yes.
and the teacher, and also to kind of create the safe space after this kind of incident happens.
Yeah,
that sounds really that sounds violent, to be honest, but yeah, and that kind of needs, like you mentioned, talk afterwards.
Yeah, but if you have, we had it also last year in a group of 120 people. I mean, there's the intimacy, another situation, and there we had also a quite disturbing chat, which I really understand. I was reading and talking, and I was totally, I think, yes, it is not only the role of the facilitator. I think it's also, I think you mentioned it already, to make some rules. So
yeah, to talk it over, what you think is acceptable and what you should avoid, you know, to create this situation.
It's not only connected to e-learning, because in our university we have a tool connected to lectures that during lectures people can use their mobiles and send questions and comments to the screen which is behind you. And so I remember one event I was speaking, and then there were very crazy comments behind me, and people reacted.
Oh my God.
And I was thinking that they are reacting to my speech, and it was very disturbing. But I think it's a kind of mindset people are with chatting, so that you are somehow anonymous to keep any comments, and it's not so serious, and
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's more general question, not related only to e-learning.
But
I think
I
the
would say
general,
it's
yeah.
related to digitality. And in my opinion, digitality is not only the electricity, which gives me 0 and 1s, it's also a culture understanding and the mindset. Or no, it's a culture. It's not only a mindset. And I think Andreas knows what I'm talking about, because we have a person at our university who's writing about this issue. And I think this culture of digitality, it's exactly that what you said right now, Marty. It's to share all the information, and I think we have a gap between this new age and the rules. I don't know how to say it in
I
English
agree.
much better. So
But that is a general thing. Like, I think that's a
it is.
European problem with the society and the discussion concerning the societal things. That is something to be learning. Of course, the kind of the roots for internet is this kind of alt culture that you have to be against and you are a kind of minority and so on. But that doesn't deal with the questions nowadays that you can't have a decent conversation in some platforms without getting really heavily disturbed. But it's sad when it happens within a small group with people that are gathered within some kind of learning or working together based reasons. So.
And in that sense, I stand for my comment that it is the role of a teacher, because if you have even a larger group of 40, like this was my largest course example, if you have created an atmosphere of respect and empathy, then it's much harder for someone to chat ugly things without being responsible of what they just chatted. But I understand the situation where you have 100 people and maybe not such a steady group. This will happen.
And even, I mean, we have one workshop in April where we discussed the group dynamic in digital spaces, which is quite interesting because there are different group dynamics in digital spaces, which we already discuss right now too. I think that is a new understanding also to facilitate a digital room, because if you are analog, you know you can move the chair. So.
I want to comment here that I have a very nice experience. I was head of master program nearly 20 years ago. We did it totally online, and we organized physical spaces where students were visiting, in a sense that we had a professor of fine arts and fine art course, and he had a reception for individual students in his atelier. So we had cameras in his atelier, and students came to that atelier to discuss with their work which they had sent beforehand. And students were very pleased that they were thinking that they were like invited visitors, special guests coming to that atelier to get the feedback. So this real physical space, also it was through virtual environment, it was most important for them, not having just Zoom environment and virtual background.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we did also in this situation, adding an example to what you're speaking to, a kickoff, which we couldn't do outside. We had to do it in this Zoom situation. And every teacher introduced himself, because you're in your room or space or whatever, and to zoom in or to make a walk through a part of your house. and all of us teachers had art in our house and talk over what you see, and that what they liked it very much, you know, because you have already this classroom is already different, and that was very helpful to get a kind of context of where you're talking out. It was beneficial to the atmosphere. A good kickoff.
Yeah.
It's
And
true.
now we have another problem of the digital Zoom meetings. My next Zoom meeting
Up
is
to.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we
And
have to-
that is
yeah.
a pace which is it's quite high. I mean, I think that is
Yeah.
You shouldn't book all day.
no, today it's a special day. Today.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's the same for me, you know. There we're also really the agenda. I don't hardly have any intervals to these situations.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. I like very much the examples, and I have already saved also the addresses, also with the material you showed us. I liked it very much, this meeting. And I hope to see you in Rome, that we can see each other in real life.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds great.
Still dreaming of the possibility. Let's see.
Yeah.
And we have this. This is not possible. Part 2.
Oh,
in,
yeah,
in March,
March.
25th of March.
Ah, yeah, the 25th of March. I will write it down. Yeah. But I have. How do you call it? I have made a reservation already for Rome for the. To
cool.
see, I'm very positive. We
You're
come out.
optimistic.
I hopefully I'm vaccinated. And although in Holland it's really chaotic, the situation is really bad here.
Oh, no.
Well,
Okay.
I hope to see you, and I have to leave you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Super
Bye-bye.
nice to meet you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you.